Hello, everybody. We're live on Facebook. We're back. I didn't have a podcast last week, so it was really weird to have a week where I wasn't promoting someone or interviewing them on the podcast. So we're back this week, and we're excited to have Eylem joining me as my co-host today. And then Jorgie Franks is going to be our guest today. So are we ready to go, ladies?
Oh, yeah,
yes,
we're ready.
All right. We've given you guys some time to hop on. If you have any questions, you can throw them in the bottom of the comment section. And of course, Jorgie and Eylem and I will go back after this and we will answer those questions for you. But let's go ahead and pop on now and start recording. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and I am so excited for February. We are running our first membership drive next week, the 15th through the 19th. We've never done that before. And as you meet Jorgie Franks, my interview today and my guest on our show, she's going to be talking about the art of closing the sale. So I'm sure she's going to have some comments on why doing a membership drive is smart. You know, I look at it this way. We've got a big community of women, and what better way to grow the community than do some fun, competitive, just fun ways to win some prizes, get some awards, and also to have all of the community pitch in to inviting women into a community that they enjoy, that has really been essential in their growth and their expansion of influence. So I'm excited to offer that. So for all of you, I will put a link here in the Facebook description. I will also put a link if you are listening to this through the podcast. So there'll be a link for you to join Lead Up for Women as well. We have a plethora of opportunities for you to stand in that spotlight and show yourself off to the world. That is what is about you. We all need spotlights to just say, me, 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 me. Look at what I do. So freaking awesome. And I know that's not second nature to women, but it is essential when you are an entrepreneur and when you are growing your business. It is essential to sell yourself. And we're going to be talking a lot about sales today. But I would like to first introduce my co-host that I have joining me today. Eylem is here with us today, and I have to share a secret with all of you. I've known Eylem for a little over a year and a half now. I have pronounced her name Eylem for a year and a half. And yesterday she said to me, hey, I just need to correct one thing for tomorrow. It's Eylem. And I was like, hey, I'm confused. She was like, that's how you pronounce my name. And I was like, what are you kidding me?
It was my bad.
So bad. I'm telling you, I said, thank you so much for letting me know.
Once you don't correct it, while it's too late.
I said, why didn't you tell me about that a year and a half ago? She goes, oh, it's no big deal. I said, it's a big deal to me. So I'm sorry that I pronounced your name wrong for a year and a half. So
now we have it right.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Eylem. Her and I worked together on a movement called Free to Fly. I met Eylem a while back, Allison Larson introduced us. We're in some circles of communities together. And I'm always looking, like with Lead Up for Women, to assist women in just stepping into the spotlight, promoting their businesses, being motivated, educated, and inspired. Everything, they bring value and they get value from the community. And Eylem and I met for lunch back in the day when there were no masks and you could meet each other. And I said, let's just get together and have lunch. It would be so much fun. So we did. Eylem became a member of Lead Up for Women and then reached out to me because she really wanted to do more in helping women that are being abused, women and children. And coming from that abuse herself in the past, same with my situation, she decided she wanted to put together this and asked me if I would join her on this trek and this journey to be able to help women and be that conduit that gives them information for them to be able to escape that world, because we know that's the hardest step. The hardest step is, how do I get out? So Eylem, welcome to the show, and why don't you tell our listeners just a little bit about you and why you love Free to Fly so much? Why is that important to you? And I can't hear you, so I'm not quite sure if possibly if your internet has
Thank
slowed
you,
down.
Colleen.
Oh,
Hi,
there you
everybody. I'm Eylem. I'm from Turkey. I came to the States when I was 23, and I've been in online industry, commerce industry for the last 16, 17 years. And talking about free to fly, it's really close to my heart. I always wanted to do something, um, about helping other women because I've been there and I've
Oh, we lost you again. So when you hear me speaking and you come back, we'll just
and
start
I know
where.
that that cycle just goes on and on, for generations, and I want to break that cycle. And when I realized that what I was doing in my relationships, basically repeating what I've seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, your internet is a little bit unstable, Elam. So let's go ahead and just keep moving on. I totally understand what you're saying when the cycle's repeating and you're in a bad relationship and you can't get out. You really just don't know where to reach to or what to do or who to turn to. And I have to say, I was in that same position, right? If you don't have anybody on the other side that's there helping you or giving you the opportunity to speak out loud or have a voice, then we feel stuck and we just don't know what to do. And I think that's part of the circle of the abuse is for those women or men or children to feel like there isn't anything on the other side. So there has to be this, not realizing that it could ever stop or I could have a different life. And so Elam and I have joined forces with very early in the stages with a project called Lifehouse Project, and they are building shelters for women and children to be able to be rescued, find refuge, and rehabilitate them, help them get back on their feet, help them be able to earn money, get a job, and be able to thrive in their life and not feel like their life is worth nothing. Because we know that the life of a woman is worth 1,000 times over, and we want women to have that opportunity to be able to thrive in life. Elam, was there anything else that you wanted to fill in there?
Yeah, so I just want to say that sometimes we women just need someone to share our story to, without judgments, without anyone telling us what to do. Families are sometimes the worst people you can go to because they just wanted to just leave. No, it's not that easy. So that's what Colleen and I, share, that that's not what we want to do. We just want to listen, guide them, and help them with the resources, whatever they need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so we have a Facebook group that was started out there called Free to Fly. So it's FREE. Is it the number two? I can't even remember now. Is it the number
No,
two
it's
and
not.
then
It's just the
it's TO?
letters.
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
FREETOFLY. Free to Fly. There's a Facebook group out there. I'll put that in the comment section as well and in the description. We would love for you to join that, even if you have been abused in the past and want to be able to have your voice as solitude for someone who might need to hear that you've made it to the other side and there is the possibility of thriving in a different life, because it's very hard to see that when you're in the middle of the abuse. And those women should no longer be silenced or feel that they have to be silenced. So,
Right.
Eylem, thank you so much for joining us today and being my co-host on here for us to talk about Free to Fly. And I want to
Of
scoot
course.
over to our interview, which is Jorgie Franks. So the reason why I called today the art of closing the sale is because I feel that Jorgie is really like that sales genius, and she's been in sales and leadership for over 20 years, collecting experience in territory management, cold calls. That still exists, by the way. Call center, knocking on doors. It still exists, even in the pandemic. Retail sales and sales management. She makes it her passion to dig for the details. We need to talk about that. Understand all the dynamics of your present situation and never stops formulating better practices for your organization to use. Jorgie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Colleen, and nice to meet you, Eylem. This is an amazing opportunity, so I'm always glad when I can join forces with you.
I hope your tribe is watching right now, because I know our tribe is. This seems to be between social media and sales. Don't you feel like those are always the two hottest topics that are discussed in how to build a business?
Yes, I think sales is one of the least favorite out of the two, though. it's I think it's more the going live and really showing up as your authentic self on social media that becomes the challenge. And it goes back to what you were talking about. We all have a story and things that we've been through, and we want to share it, but then we have that fear, right? To show up as our authentic self and share our point of view, and it goes back to not wanting to be judged, not wanting to be uh cast away. But you find out after you share your story, whether that's domestic violence or trials that you've had or obstacles in your life, that there's a whole group of women who then say, oh my gosh, there's other people like me, and then they're kind of delivered and set free, right, so that they can love and be the best them when they show up the next time.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Georgie, because, done is really better than perfect. And people aren't looking for the perfect you. They just want you, right? Because they probably fell in love with you because of who you were the first time they met you or saw you the second time or your energy or whatever it is. So when you try to show up and be something you're not, it's exhausting. So the easiest way to show up is just be yourself. Now, how can just being yourself, how does that transfer to sales, Georgie?
It's funny you mentioned that, Colleen. It's one of my favorite topics ever. And I think that's where your title comes in. You chose the art of closing the sale. And I feel like the art is where the authentic you comes in, because that's the only thing unique and creative and special about sales and about your gifting and your product, right? And what you bring to it. You can sell a purse, but what's special about how you bring that purse to the world is your creativity, right? Knowing that by selling this purse is going to impact the world, and it's going to make a woman feel beautiful, right? And the creativity that you have on your page or that you share in your style, it's different than anyone else. The only thing that you can bring artistically is you. And I think emotionally, also the courage, I guess that fortitude that you have, that's the art. Being able to say, like, my past, the things that I've been through bring me to this moment, and I'm going to bring it in an artistic way to the world. And every person has a unique and special gift today. And it's exciting. I would love to, interact with everyone and hear all their gifts. But mine has always been sharing the oratorical word, speaking, and sales, the gift of persuasion and getting points across. So that's where that 30 seconds or messaging kind of comes from. I can interpret other people's thoughts and help them bring that to the world. That's my art, right? That's my artistic way of bringing sales to the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. Go ahead, Eylem. Did you want to mention something?
Yeah, I wanna talk about your elevator pitch. I know that if you don't grab people's attention first few seconds, it's like done deal. So what's your take on that?
My take on the elevator pitch or your value proposition really goes back to making it centered around the other person. A lot of times we go into networking events, Zoom calls, and we talk about our position. I'm the owner, I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, I'm this, that, and the other. And I think when you meet someone, you need to tell them who you help, with the problems you're solving and the results that you get for people. So I help entrepreneurs. I help minority owned businesses. I help women who are in domestic violence situations. And then you tell them, I help them break free, right? And I help them stand up in their own confidence. Colleen, you're always talking about how you want women to have a voice and have different places. You have your magazine, you have podcasts, you have communities and masterminds to help women express their voice. So talking more about how you help that target market get results is the key, I believe, and not getting caught up in the titles. And there'll be time to share your story more later and your titles and different things like that, but it's definitely not when you want to do that 30-second.
Right. It's about them, not you. That's
Yes.
the
Yes,
number one.
yes. So
Mhm.
I have to share with you guys because this just happened yesterday. It was the funniest thing ever. I was invited on a panel for the nonprofit, and I thought we were being interviewed and going into the panel. But for the first hour, they did a networking opportunity. I was like, okay, this is great. I get to meet more people. Well, they wound up doing networking, and then they had a pitch contest. And I got nominated as one of the finalists for the pitch contest. Then we had to pitch our 30 seconds again to everyone in the full group, and I won. Number one
Nice.
for the pitch contest. So I'll tell you what, I usually forget to even say who I am or what my title is because I am always so focused on my energy, what I bring, and for people to know what it is that what my business does for them. Right? Because everyone has that with them approach. What's in it for me? They all want to know that's great that you do all this stuff. How does that translate to helping me get what I want? How do you solve my problem? So unless we know what their problem is, how can we give them a solution, right? How can we give
Right.
them a solution? So definitely, I just had to share that because that doesn't happen every day for me. And I just happened to just fall right into that yesterday. It was really fun. Anyway, let's get back to you really quick. Jorgie, let's talk about, I know you didn't come out of the womb selling your mom, or maybe you did, selling your mom on when you wanted to eat, when you wanted your diaper changed, when you were going to sleep, starting to negotiate with her. I'm sure it started in an early date, but if you can go all the way back and just let our listeners know, what has your pathway been like to get to where you are today, and why are you so passionate about sales? Where does it come from? How no one purposefully that I know of steps into sales and loves it kind of as much as you and I do, because when you look at sales as offering people an opportunity, it just gives it a whole new perspective and becomes something we want to do, not like a chore. So how did that become for you back in the day? What were you doing where you just were like, I love this?
Well, people laugh at me all the time when I say I've been in sales for 30 years because they're like, oh my gosh, you only look 20. And I'm like, oh, guys, stop. No, it's because I feel like I started when I was about 8. My father was a pastor, and I was taught on the streets of Richmond, Virginia, how to knock on doors and tell people about Jesus. And it's so funny that cold calling is called knocking on doors, because that's exactly what we did. We knocked on doors to tell people about our faith. So we were looking for a target market, right? We were looking for people who were lost or unsaved or hurting or sad. And we were going to tell them about this good news, right? And so a lot of people, as I'm sure you know, slammed the door in our face, right? So you have to have tenacity and fortitude to be in sales. People are going to slam the door in your face and be rude and tell you, that you're a fraud and that you're not good enough. But I kept knocking. And this was when I was a little girl. And so by knocking, I finally got to that person who needed me, who start crying, or they wanted prayer, or they just wanted to give their life over. I was like, wow, this is a huge impact that I can make in someone's life. And so I think that's where I learned that if I keep knocking on these doors, eventually I'm going to find somebody with a gift and a talent that could come join our church, because my father was the pastor. And the more people, right, who are a part of your church, that really is supposed to be indicating the impact that you're making. My father says the numbers, you are counting numbers because that represents souls. So when you talked about your membership drive, why it's important to do that is because you want to boost the numbers, because that's more impact. That's more people that you're helping. So, it's okay to blitz out there and share the good news. So that's how I got started. That's really where I began to see that I had this way to persuade people. And then I became a speaker. I would do Sojourner Truth speech, Ain't I a Woman, for Black History Month, and Still I Rise, and Phenomenal Woman, Phenomenal Woman. That's me, and I would do the scriptures at Christmas. And then that became, being an honor student and debate and forensics and being a national touring speaker for a modeling agency. So it was really where I learned how to grow my gift and how to be an orator.
I
I
saw
have a
those.
question for
Yeah,
you.
go ahead, Eylem.
With cold calling, it's not very appealing to, anyone, just you might get the rejection, how people are going to react to you. That I think brings a lot of confidence in yourself and what you believe in. So do you take these like rejections like personally to your heart, or how do you think about those when you get the
I
rejection
definitely
from
think,
people?
yes, great question. And I do think that you have to do a lot of self-development and strength building, and you have to build your confidence to be able to handle rejection. But usually a no isn't a no forever. It's like a no, not right now. And when I cold call somebody, I follow a script because I feel like that gives me more confidence. I really try to deliver it kind of like an actress, and I actually am looking at my script. I say, may I speak to, and then I fill in the name. Is this a good time? Like, I have my script right in front of me. So that way I know when to pause, when to speak, and I say it over and over on all my different calls. So that builds my confidence. And then when I get stuck, I know where to go back to. Like if I say, I specialize in helping entrepreneurs increase sales, book appointments, and increase brand exposure. I pause there. And then for some reason, that person says, well, what does that mean? I can say, well, if someone's struggling, and I'm just reading off my script that if they're struggling with generating new business or being able to make appointments on the phone, I just kind of go with the script, and you face on the different calls different things, and that's where you just want to take notes to see what kind of things don't people understand or get, so that you can tweak your script and have more confidence. It's just like an actress, they read these long scripts, but somehow they perform on stage and it looks so natural. Well,
Right.
cold calling should have that same delivery and confidence. If you stutter and you're talking slow and your head's bowed, they can hear it. That's why in sales, we say smile while you dial, right? Because while you're dialing the phone, you have to have that smile on your face and ignite energy over the phone. So
Right.
those are some tips and tricks that I feel like will really be helpful for somebody who's scared to cold call. Use a script, put on that actress, get on stage, and smile while you dial.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I think it's an art, to be able to cold call. I get a lot of those, and not everybody knows what they're doing when they call, and when I say no, I'm not interested, and they start blaming you and doing all that stuff. I think it's an art when they capture my attention to stay on the phone with
Yeah.
them.
I
Yeah,
think it's
those.
fun to turn around that call and try and sell the
Hmm.
person that called you. I just do it for, just for giggles because I just take that challenge. I think what we have to remember, and something that you had said that was really important, was you have to get the rejection does not mean that it's personal to you. It just means not now. And sales is actually the part of the person that's being sold to. It has to be their season and right for them at that time. It's not about the timing for you, it's the timing for them. You're presenting them the opportunity, they'll buy based on the timing that works for them. So that's why there's hooks that are used. There's so many other pieces, right, for a limited time only, and all those pieces out there. But just remembering that when one closed door happens, so when that door closes, it creates opportunity for other doors to open. And if you look at it again from the mindset and the perspective of that closed door probably just opened two other doors for me. And so instead of wasting time on the closed door and the woe me, moving on to the open door opportunities and the other people that are waiting for you. Just like when Jorgie was 8, there were people that slammed the door in her face because they didn't want Jesus. But the ones that were waiting for it and needed it, you were there at the right time for them.
Yeah, and statistically, they say you have to get a certain amount of no's. It's kind of changed between 7 and 21 now with digital, but you have to get a certain amount of no's before you can get to a yes. So if someone's saying no, it's kind of like that tally mark. 1, okay, 2, all right, I should be getting there. So I have to keep going. And we stop too early a lot of times, and we don't, and you have to keep going. You have to have leads and be generating amount of contacts and cards so that you can endure the no's.
Yeah.
And I think that so many people in business, they don't have enough incoming contacts. And so that's why they get scared, because they only had 3. Well, you needed about 10. So how can we get you 10? Because the likeliness is that you're going to get some no's. So
And I
let's
think
see how
that's
we
where the
can.
hard work is, right?
Yeah,
That's where the hard work
absolutely.
is. So keeping the funnel filled. And if you look at a funnel, let's all just look at a picture of a funnel. It looks like an upside down triangle. So if we're looking at a funnel, they come in here. You have a lot of people that come in for free things that you offer. When they get down to the bottom and you're talking and offering everyone, the funnel is very small at the bottom of who says yes that drops through the bottom. So we all have to remember, if your funnel has 3 people in it, they could just slip through the funnel very easily with no's. But if you're filling your funnel with 20 people or 30 people or 40 people, the odds that you get a yes out of that are much higher than if you only have 3 people. So the work is really in keeping the funnel full and keeping the interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping the funnel full, and then also having qualified people in your funnel, who can afford your service and who are in your target market. I think another part of being artistic and growing your funnel is also diversifying your lead generation and just overall appreciating diversity. So that allows you to reach more people and have a larger impact.
Absolutely. Jorgie, it's been incredible talking to you today. And before we wrap up and talk about how everyone can reach out to you, why they would want to reach out to you, who the ideal person is to reach out to you, I want to circle back around to something I saw on LinkedIn not too long ago. And so, talk to me about what you had posted on LinkedIn the other day.
Okay, I believe that you're referring to me being the first.
It is. You being the first, what?
The first Black female president of our local Kiwanis Club. And then even in 2021, being the first Black employee of our local Chamber of Commerce when I was working for the Chamber of Commerce. So
Woohoo! Nice.
thank you so much. This has been a conversation that I've been having a lot, really trying to make an impact in the community, knowing that a lot of times when I get in the room, I'm the only woman of color in that room. And how do I help other women of color have the courage to be that one, to be strong enough or courageous enough to interact and learn how to navigate a room where maybe they don't see that other person has domestic violence and you can relate to them that way, or that other person is hurting and you have the solution. We a lot of times as a Black woman, you go in the room and you look around and you just overwhelmed that there's no one else that you can instantly relate to just by the color of their skin. And then helping women who maybe don't have that darker pigmentation understand that person is probably uncomfortable, and how can you break away and check on them and include them into the conversations. Because a lot of times we have our friends, we have our cliques, we have, our girls group who we already bonded with, but how can we make them feel welcome and show them that, hey, I want to be part of your life and your business and maybe even your struggle.
Mm-hmm. I love that you pointed that out. And I think we need to remember that as women, it doesn't matter what country we're from. It doesn't matter when we were born. We have this golden thread of sisterhood of being women, period. And that is stronger than any color, any race, any culture, anywhere you live in the world. That is the golden thread of sisterhood. And we need to stick with that and be reaching out and reaching for all women to pull them up and pull them with us, and educating and motivating and inspiring them along the way, because that is how we are going to disrupt the landscape for women in the future. If we all band together to make those changes, to bring more women of color into the room, for Jorgie to be able to reach out to help women that feel uncomfortable with that, it is also our responsibility to do the same. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it's so true, Jorgie. Absolutely. So let's move into the section of our show where you have the opportunity to tell us, who are you looking for? You know, do you have a free offer for our audience? Who are you looking for? What is your ideal candidate of someone that would work with you? Why would someone want to reach out to work with you? You know, this is your chance to tell us about why I want to work with Jorgie Franks.
Well, I always say like I'm the caring sales coach. I think being a woman, it gives me a softer approach to helping people, understanding and listening. And I think in sales, you really have to have two listening ears and one mouth and really listen to the concerns of the other person. And, like, Ayla mentioned, we get fear, we get scared, and you need to have someone there to encourage you and tell you, you can do it. You need to go live. Come on, you can do it. Why don't we go live together? And Colleen is great with that. Why don't we share the screen and empower one another? And I'm an empowering coach. I try to help sale entrepreneurs, minority-owned businesses. I love helping serial entrepreneurs. Usually the people who I want to help are the ones who are on the outside of the room, a little nervous about going on stage. Usually they're the people who are maybe could be on stage giving the address, but they're really an introvert. And then afterwards, when everyone bombards them, they're like, no. And so I get in there and I kind of gauge that audience and get the leads and filter through with my jovial personality. I'm sure you noticed. And I really want all of you to know that there is a process to sales. You don't have to be alone in the process. And I do have a free offer. If you go to my website, jorgieinc.com, that's my first name, inc.com, that's /8 steps. I will provide for you my 8-step process on how you can increase your sales, book more appointments, and close more deals. I do have a 2-day intensive where I teach behavioral knowledge in sales and how to understand your DISC personality and sell to different DISC personalities, and my proprietary sales system, the 8 C's. And then I am creating an online course. Colleen is a friend, but she also is truly a mentor to everyone in her community. I love to share. And right now, since she gave me the opportunity to share, I am a winner. That's my affirmation. I am a winner. So when she has her membership challenge, I do plan to win, just so everyone knows. I had to put you on notice since I had the mic.
You know what, Jorgie? I think I'm your ideal client. I'm great selling products online, but if when I want to get business to myself, I'm horrible at it. I'm introvert, extrovert sometimes. It depends. Right. But introvert is just selling myself isn't like natural to me right now. So I would love to talk to you about it.
I would love to connect with you. A lot of it I find is that when we're in a room full of strangers, we're not comfortable, right? We're scared we're going to be judged. But once we make them our friends, we can be extroverted because they're our friends now. They're not strangers anymore. So I try to make everyone my friend in the room, and then I can introduce my friend to who they need to meet for their products and services.
Wow, that's great advice. Yes.
Good. Now you see, Eylem is now your customer.
Yes.
You have an ideal client. So that worked out really well. And of course, I want to encourage everyone to do jorgieinc.com, and it's /8 steps. Is it the letter 8? I mean, the number 8?
Yes, the number 8.
Number 8 steps. Okay, I have that down. And, I think I'm probably might be the only person that can walk in a room and really not feel like I care about what anyone else in that room thinks. It takes a long time to get to that part, but when you realize that just what other people say to you and what they think about you, and if they're projecting anything onto you from the way that they're judging you, that it really had nothing to do with you to begin with. It really was a reflection of themselves. So when you see it that way, when you walk into the room, you just kind of become immune to that because and your heart actually bleeds for someone that does judge you because they're struggling with that. And then I go into the mode where I want to help them, with that, for them to be
Mm-hmm.
able to overcome that. And so we look at it from a different perspective and with a fuller heart with other people that judge us, because it just doesn't land on me anymore. It's like, I'm rubber, you're glue, girl. So whatever you say bounces off of me is sticking right back on you. And,
Yeah.
I guess that's how we deal with bullies, but they still exist even in the world of women. Sometimes it can be worse in this world and map of
We
women.
can be more
So,
cruel. Yes.
yeah, we need
Yeah,
to be out there to support everybody.
I think people sometimes aren't purposely cruel.
Yeah.
They just don't have full understanding. And sometimes we make judgments off of what we see. People have done it to me all the time. Maybe I'm not dressed the part, or maybe, I don't have the right handbag yet. And so they make those judgments. And so I have compassion, but I still have this urge that I want to help change the world. So I think, going into the room, you're just bold and bad, Colleen. You know that. Uh, she's like, I might be the only one. No, you're probably, there's probably a lot of people like you, but they're just one in a million, right? So that boldness, and that's why we love you. It's that boldness and
You're
that
natural.
I
yeah, it's
think it
natural,
just
and
it's not natural, but it comes with knowing who you are and accepting and loving yourself for who you are, and knowing that it's just, you're not, everybody else is taken. It's exhausting to try to be someone else. So if I feel comfortable in my own skin and know this is what I bring to the table, and I'm not trying to bring something to the table that I'm not comfortable with or don't know, and I'm just in my skin and being me, then I have nothing else I feel to fear. So it does take a
aw,
lot of self-development, a lot of work to
Right.
be that way. And I do feel confident in that way because no one else can be me. I am the only me out there. Now, does everyone else love that? Maybe not. I don't know. Again, not in an egotistical way, but it's okay if you don't want to be my friend, or it's okay if you don't want to have that conversation with me. I'm really out there all the time to just love everyone and support everyone as much as I can. And of course, we all want that in return, because I know what it feels like to be on the end of someone that does something really great for you. And I know what
yeah.
it feels like to be on the end of the stick when someone really hurts your feelings. And I would prefer to be on the opposite end of the stick of having someone do something for me that feels really great. So if we're doing unto others as we would have them do unto you, then we should treat the people with respect that we want in return, and do things for them that we would want them to do for us, right? We need to
Yeah.
Right,
take the
right.
first step. So,
Yeah, I'm learning that too, while not taking everything so personally. When someone is behaving the way they are behaving, it's not about me, it's about them. But that takes work. I mean, a lot of work to get there.
Oh yeah.
a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jorgie, we have really enjoyed having you today. You gave so many wonderful tips for all the ladies that are listening, and men, on how they can take just basic steps for sales, how to fill their funnels, how to constantly be working on that, how to keep going and never give up when it comes to the sales process, and know that every door that closes, just another door opens. And that doesn't, it's not personal against you. Just remember, the season of the sale is for the person that's the purchaser, not the person that's selling the item. And we just have to remember that. And be passionate about what you do, and just be yourself. You're the best salesperson possible for what it is that you're selling, because it's what you do. Yeah, you're going to be the best person to sell it. So, Jorgie, thank you so much. And ladies, I just wanted to remind you that next week we are interviewing Lisa Sung Sutton. She's a real estate investor, but my favorite, and an entrepreneur, but my favorite part, because I always love to pick the favorite parts, she's a former Miss Nevada and former congressional candidate for Nevada's 4th district. Like,
Wow.
congressional candidate, Miss Nevada. That is going to be a fun
Wow.
conversation. So,
Brains and beauty.
yes. So please feel
Yeah.
free to join me next week. I'm super excited about that. And until then, women, I just want to remind all of you listening to us, first of all, we're honored that you're here every week with us, and that we get to share the spotlight with so many wonderful women that are here to educate, inspire, and motivate you. But remember, you are the only you that has ever been, and you are the only you that will ever be. So how you pioneer your future, it's up to you. Nobody else is going to be there to give you permission. You must give yourself permission to live the life you desire. So, Jorgie Franks, thank you for being with us today. Eylem, thank you for joining me today as my co-host. To everyone,
Thank you.
have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.